What's up, Battle here, and welcome back to another Star Wars The Force Awakens video. Today we will be continuing our theorizing around the identity of Supreme Leader Snoke. In today's episode, we will be talking about the most common theory about the identity of Supreme Leader Snoke. If you have not already done so, go back and watch my previous video to see an alternate theory about the identity of Supreme Leader Snoke that could be a possibility. But in today's episode, we will be talking about the most common theory, the one that most everyone believes is correct, and there is a lot of evidence backing it up. But if you have not seen Star Wars The Force Awakens, I suggest that you click away now, because this will delve into some spoiler-ish territory, and we don't want you to have your experience spoiled. So you have been warned. Now, moving on. The most common theory and the most evident that has the most evidence backing it up is that Supreme Leader Snoke is Darth Plagueis. Darth Plagueis was Emperor Palpatine's master. So there's quite a bit of stuff surrounding this theory that proves that it may be correct. But in my last video, when I was talking about my theory that Supreme Leader Snoke may be Darth Vader, I also thought about, that he could be Darth Plagueis, since that is the most common and most prevalent theory. In the comments section, I had a good discussion with Mike Nite, and he had a comment, and he says, spoilers, okay, here's all the reasons why I think it's Darth Plagueis. I'll start with the things in episode 7. We see that in the movie that JJ is using things from Legends, but moving them around. Point being that having 3 factions, like the comic from Dark Horse called Legacy, in the comic there is the Empire, the Sith, and the New Republic. So this is kind of talking about that there's 3 different factions, like the Sith and the Empire aren't really linked. And we kind of see that in The Force Awakens with Snoke and Kylo Ren. I mean, Snoke is kind of the leader of the First Order, but you can tell that Snoke also has his own agendas. But moving on, we also see that there's the giant hollow of Snoke, and one of the biggest clues, in my opinion, the theme for Snoke. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. We also see here that Kylo Ren says that Supreme Leader Snoke is wise. We will also cover that in a little bit. So he also said, remember new canon, that we have no history for Plagueis or race, only what Palpatine said about in the opera scene and the Tarkin book. And the toy doesn't count because that's technically Legends, and it was way before any of this new canon. So the last thing, the giant hollow of Snoke. If you look at the cover of the Plagueis book, you see just how big the hollow projection is. So he believes that it is a new reworked Plagueis with a similar backstory, or J.J. Abrams is just giving fan service to the character. So let's delve into some of these theories and evidence supporting them. So Mike Nite kind of touched on the fact of the Legacy book, and we talked about that a little bit. That the Empire, the factions, and the Empire, the Sith, and the New Republic are all sort of separate entities. And bringing that in, that's kind of a, theory with Legends, that he's bringing in some of those old things into the new movie, because we can kind of see this with the First Order and Supreme Leader Snoke and Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens. Next, in the opera scene, is where we get most of our content that is canon about Darth Plagueis. Emperor Palpatine, at the time Senator Palpatine, is telling Anakin the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. So in the background, you can hear this dark, menacing, kind of ominous music playing, and the major clue here that leads us to believe that Snoke may be Darth Plagueis is that in the soundtrack for Star Wars The Force Awakens, the track number 17, titled Snoke, if you listen to it, you're going to have to do this research on your own and listen to each of these separately and compare them due to copyright issues. But the song Snoke sounds nearly identical to the song in the opera scene. Now, also, we said that Sidious is telling Anakin the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. And Kylo Ren in the movie, when he's talking to Han Solo on the bridge, Han says, Snoke is using you, and Kylo Ren says, Supreme Leader Snoke is wise. Now, since a long time ago, during the prequels, the Darth Plagueis' title was Darth Plagueis the Wise. So this kind of ties this in, and maybe he was hinting that, that Snoke may be actually Darth Plagueis. Also, in the canon tab of Wikipedia, we see that the description for Darth Plagueis is Darth Plagueis was a male Dark Lord of the Sith and master of Darth Sidious. He acquired considerable knowledge of the field of midichlorian manipulation, but was ultimately betrayed and murdered by his own apprentice. In accordance with the rule of two, Sidious later recounted a tale of his master's demise to lure Anakin Skywalker to the dark side. Notice that his description is only a male Sith Lord and not a Mune, which is the Legends category. So technically, J.J. Abrams could use this canon information and slightly change the look of Darth Plagueis, but still keep the general character and his story the same, but just change how he looks like, and that would be how Snoke looks in the new movie. Finally, Mike Nite kind of touched on saying that in the Darth Plagueis book, if you look at the front cover, you see Sidious bowing before Plagueis, but Plagueis looks much larger than life. Maybe this could be a hint that he used projections to make himself bigger. Or maybe we're just reading this wrong and he's just closer in the forefront of the picture, and that therefore making him look larger. Is Supreme Leader Snoke really Plagueis? We don't know. Is he someone else? Is he a new character? We'll all just have to wait and find out in the upcoming rest of the trilogy for the upcoming movies. I hope you all enjoyed this episode on the most popular Plagueis theory on Supreme Leader Snoke. I hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you all next time. May the Force be with you.